when it comes to obtaining not just income, but obtaining the income that you feel you deserve, and then going beyond that to not what you feel you deserve, but what you actually deserve. Because what we feel we deserve and what we actually deserve, two totally different incomes, two totally different compensations. It's just some factors within that variety that's totally different. So the idea is, it's really an individual thing. I have to be honest with you. The ability to receive money is based off of your comfortability with it, first and foremost. One of my good coach friends, colleagues, we met before I became certified as a coach. We were essentially doing a similar thing and came across each other on social media, and she's really been one of my most enduring inspirations, motivations, mentors in so many ways. And I became certified, and since then she's recently become certified out of the same body that I became certified out of, okay? She has 100,000 plus fans on Instagram, and a combination of Instagram and Facebook, okay? Just Instagram and Facebook alone, 100,000 plus, okay? And I myself, I may have, and especially before she started teaching me some of this stuff, I may have, maybe 1,000 at the beginning. I maybe had 300 followers on my Facebook page during the time that I was able to book my first speaking engagement. And I think I've mentioned to you all before that my first speaking engagement I was offered as soon as I created my Facebook fan page. The idea was not whether I was going to ask for money as much as it was I going to accept the money that someone offered me.
Right.
Okay. Now, those again are two totally different things, because what will happen is we may or may not feel worthy, credible, certified, valid, all types of different reasons. We may not feel those things enough in order to ask for money. That's one issue. The extension of that is whether or not we feel worthy, qualified, valid, certified enough to accept whatever money is already offered to us. Okay? So what ends up happening is, again, I was offered that arrangement. Now, let me tell you how I did this. At the time, maybe I didn't have my pricing yet. I have no clue. I can't exactly remember. Yet, I'm so ambitious. I had an idea of what I wanted to ask for, and so on and so forth. I already had an idea in my mind. Or it was either written down, but I can't at this moment, my recollection can't be sure the timing, whether I already had those rates written down somewhere. Okay?
Right.
So what I did was, I posted, I had my Facebook page that was, my Coach D Nicole page. You put your page together, you put the profile picture, you put the fan, the header picture, and, people start to like it and so excited for you. And so this guy came on and he said, hey, I need you to come to my church and talk to my leadership team, about leadership. Let's do something. You need to come here. And so I'm in Jacksonville, and I don't even know if I had moved to Jacksonville at that point. But either way, he was in North Carolina. So now here is the conversation again. Same type of thing, but it's still a process, because before we can acquire the money, we have to go through the process to get ourselves in a position to receive said money. So, new coach, straight out of the gate. I had been held my certification for maybe 3 months and I had just gotten over the hump. God told me to create a Facebook page that was a me page. I already had one that was my business page. So I was like, ooh, God, I don't know. I don't want to make this about me. I want to make it about this business. And so here's where obedience then comes into play. Now, I had my business page already. On my personal page even, people knew, including this guy, that I was a life coach, you see? But it took me being obedient to what God told me to really, and even in this moment, I'm finding, oh my goodness, there's a clarity right there. It's obedient. So as soon as I created this personal, or excuse me, not personal, but this page that was a representation of me versus the one that's representation of my business, as soon as I created that, which was 3 months after I had obtained my certification, that's when I got my first speaking engagement. So back to the obedience part, or being able to seek God and honor what He offers us, you see. So regardless of whether I was willing to ask for clients or ask for speaking engagements at that time, what do you say when someone says, hey, you need to come up to my church? Do you feel, that you would answer that in such a way to where you could even accept, and because that's really what it is, accepting the things that are already made readily available for us. So could you turn an offer into a signed, sealed, and delivered deal?
And I guess that would be the famous question.
Exactly. Okay. And so even with me, like I said, regardless of whether I knew my rates or not, how do I answer this question in such a way to where I'm comfortable?
Right.
Okay. So it's like, okay, you say, and this is what I said, oh, of course I would love to, something along those lines. I'd be more than happy to, because new coach, just, feet aren't even wet. You have no clue what's going on. Exactly. So do I say, oh, I'm not ready, I'm new, any number of things will just blurt out, right? Do I say any of those things? Do I say, I just turned 30 is my age right now. So at the time, I'm like, I'm just a baby. Do I say, oh, of course, yeah, I'm less than 30, so you see what I'm saying? Because we'll make it about so many things. Or I say, oh, my goodness, I'm a woman. Or do I say, oh, I'm not, my walk with God isn't where it's supposed to be right now. Do I say any of those things that the man doesn't care about, your walk with God? He's a pastor. If he saw anything questionable about your character, or if he did not trust and have faith in your ability to execute, he wouldn't have asked in the first place. Yet we'll go ahead and volunteer all of our flaws and things that people don't even see or care about, So, do I say, of course, I'd be love to, or do I say, oh, I'm not ready? Basically, that's what we do. And so the idea to answer that question, I know that's a very extended answer, but it contains so many different pieces of the puzzle.
No, it does. It's a lot of meat.
Yes. So you either, and again, that really has nothing to do with asking for the money. It has nothing to do with knowing what your price is. It has something to do with knowing who God is and accepting what He already has lined up in so many different ways before your pricing ever becomes firm. For one, do you even have an idea of what you're worth? And if you have an idea of what you're worth, what are you going to charge? Are you charging $20? Are you charging $50? Are you charging $50? Are you charging $200? You see?
Right.
So, and many different coaches are going to answer that different ways. Now, you happen to have the benefit of dealing with a coach, an individual, a businesswoman who has no fear of money. Thank God. And it's something that it is a continual process, really.
Right.
But if I'm extremely ambitious as far as it coming to prosperity. Really, that's really what it
Mhm.
is. So prosperity and that type of forward momentum along those lines. You know, I've seen some very outstanding things as far as the coaches that I see virtually, because I don't even know these people personally. But can you learn from someone that you've never met? Can you duplicate the excellence in someone else? Can you mimic that excellence? But before you can mimic it, you have to respect it. You
Mhm.
see, and so we'll see so many things and be afraid, like, oh my goodness, I'm new. You have no clue whether someone else is new or old or even a good coach or not. You see?
Right.
Yet, again, people buy into you before they buy into anything you're doing. So can
Right.
someone buy into Coach Christina before it becomes relevant what her rate is? So if I can buy into you, even if I don't have the money, guess what people are going to do when they can just buy into you? They're going to find that money. They're going to, that's not for you to figure out in some cases. You leave that to them and God, understanding that
Right.
some people are talking with them. They're talking your same language with them. Other people can't afford you anyway, and you have to be okay with that, because what we'll find is going to happen is when you are not comfortable with money, it's going to be hard for you to accept money, let alone ask for it. And
Yeah.
then you'll be nickeling and diming yourself with nickel and dime people. Okay?
Right.
My idea is I understand that, for one, I can't coach anybody. Or excuse me, I can't coach. Well, that's true too, and I appreciate the Holy Spirit for telling me that. I can't coach just anybody. Okay?
Mhm.
That's really good. That's really solid information, and that's an affirmation of who I know myself to be. Okay? As new coaches, we will tend to say, oh, I'm coaching everybody. Everybody is my niche, which is just not true. You see, which is then going to have you nickeling and diming yourself. It's going to mean that you don't know your worth. It's going to mean that you are accepting things that are not for you to accept and don't put you on your best stage. Okay?
Mhm.
Now, your best stage may not be your biggest stage. It may not also be your most profitable stage. Okay? But it is the stage where the results are most enduring and most weighty for both you and whoever you're coaching. And so
Mhm.
that means that sometimes it's not a literal stage. Sometimes it's not an audience. It could be one individual. And sometimes, more often than not, it is simply a lifestyle. Your best stage is going to be your lifestyle. Okay?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
fast forward back to what we were talking about. He asked me to come, and it was a very professional process, a very formal process, which I totally respected, because as a new coach, if you don't have that type of experience right in the beginning, you really have no clue how to find your footing when it comes to that, doing that type of stuff in the future, because other people don't have it figured out. They don't even know what a coach is. So you
Right.
become an educator and an advocate as much as you are a businesswoman or a coach. Um, so you'll have to educate a lot of people on the various processes. You'll have to educate a lot of your clients on, the proper procedural or something that's going to be formal and fit who Coach Rashina is anyway. So what you don't do is you take something new and make it something that looks totally different from every other standard you have for yourself or every other, bit of organization that you have for yourself. You just carry who you naturally are into, your professional arena, which means you're
Mhm.
going to go about this in Coach Christina's ways. Coach Christine is going to go about it different. Coach B is going to go about it differently. But can we all have very fruitful results? And fruit is not always money. But in my case, and I'm hoping and praying in you all's case as well, that fruit is financial fruit. okay, because
Mhm.
this is ministry. It takes money. You cannot do ministry on a $20 an hour budget. I promise
No,
you.
you can't.
I promise
Definitely
you.
not.
So all
Definitely
of that
not.
being said, all of that being said, he asked me, I want to say how much the rate was, and what I ended up doing was speaking with his secretary. And we worked out something, and they were asking me about, okay, do we book you? Do we fly you out here? Are you driving? Do we put you in a hotel? If we put you in a hotel, do we pay for the hotel, or do you pay and then we reimburse you? Now, I'm not only a brand new coach, but I have absolutely no experience with any type of thing like that, but in corporate America, they pretty much made all your travel arrangements for you, and it was easy. Even if you paid first, they reimbursed you. I had no clue about how to do this in, this life. And so
Right.
I maybe Googled some stuff and still had no clue. So I, did the best I can operating
Mhm.
on a $0 budget. I had absolutely no money to my name at all. So it's very hard for some people having absolutely $0 to be able to acquire any additional dollars, because a $0 individual or a $0 lifestyle comes often with a $0 mentality. People who don't have money can not easily make money.
Mhm.
Okay, it becomes a very difficult process, because again, that is backed up by a mentality of really being impoverished, which is why we see so many communities, so many cultures, so many even churches that cannot raise a dime in the offering,
Mhm.
because there's a mentality. You can huff and puff and yell and scream and make a shout and lay hands all day or what have you. Does that mean that someone is going to be moved to sow into this offering, which is really sowing into themselves, and that they're going to, help and support your movement or what you have going on? So that goes really back to, who are you in front of as a coach? What type of people
Mhm.
you're in front of as a coach? Because I had one young lady in my most recent speaking engagement training session. We were talking about social media management, and I do a lot of business consulting. And her cards have her price written on them. And I was like, I'm
Oh,
so
that's
proud of
different.
you. Right. It is very, very different. And in her arena, I said, I'm so proud of you for doing this. And I'm so proud of this being your rate. She was an older woman. I mean, probably nobody around her ever had a business. And the cards were made. They had a bright rate on them. And she was going into tutoring. Her tutoring rate was $25 an hour. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm super proud of this rate. And I said, okay, so I'm going to tell you about this rate. You already have this on your business card, so you can't negotiate on this. It's already there. And I tell
Right.
people all the time, and you write this down. If you never wrote down anything else I said, write this down. Do not negotiate. Okay? Do not negotiate on your going rate.
Okay.
Okay? Because you'll nickel and dime yourself. We always do that. More so than anybody else, we nickel and dime ourselves. So anyway, I told her, okay, you have this rate on your business card. That means you can't be negotiable. No scratching it out. No putting white out over it. No putting a sticker over it. No discounts. It's $25 a session. Okay? And so I
Mhm.
told her, okay, now here's the thing. This means that how you market yourself totally changes. You can't have a $25 rate or $25 a session rate and go into the community homes. You can't have $25 an hour and go into the local community pool. You can't go into low-income housing for your clients. And you probably can't even go in some churches finding those clients. Okay? Now, there's a number of things happening. But for one, why go into low-income housing looking for someone who not only is going to invest in their child's education, but is going to be able to afford $25 an hour for tutoring? That's just a waste of your time, really.
Right.
Do you understand? So it's like if we're looking for a certain income, then who we talk to totally changes. For me and my rates and where my income goals are, I currently say that I charge $75, and glory be to God, I actually just increased it to $97. Just a few days ago, maybe not even a full 24 hours ago. But $75 a session because I don't do things hourly. So $75 a session is what it formerly was. I've now increased it to $97 a session. Okay? My target for my very first, very formally written out price sheet, my target is $150 a session. And that is me, new coach. When my very first price sheet, that was my target, $150 an hour. So a coach who can be a baby coach, quote unquote, you just finished. You haven't even had an official client yet. But if you can even write $150 per session, then you're going to be better than the coach that writes, 15 is good.
Right.
You see what I mean? So the idea is before those things actually become reality, can you even think along those lines?
Right. And I never even thought about it that way.
And there you go.
With the scenario with the young lady that had the $25, like you can't go into certain places asking for $25.
Exactly.
So you have to go outside of your comfort zone and outside of your community sometimes.
Exactly.
In order to do that. And I think that's probably why and where my mentality is too, because even prior to coaching, I was in sales, in direct sales. And of course, they always tell you, and what we did was, the first people you go to are your family and your friends. I'm like, because they're easier. They're going to support you anyway. And then, but, family and friends, they tell family and friends and so forth, which is all great. But then after a while, it's like your circle just gets stiff. Like you can't go outside the circle. People aren't going to continue to support you in the circle. They say they have you, but they really don't. So just a matter of breaking outside of the circle and like going deeper into the ocean or deeper into the lake where there are more fish.
Exactly.
Not the ones who are going to feed off of little things.
Exactly. You don't want the minnows. It's not what you want. You want to have to do some deep sea fishing for yours. You want these big fish that it takes a few people to get these fish out of the water. And that's a literal thing, and it's also a mental thing. What quality of fish do I want? And then do I have my boots ready? Do I have my hook? Do I have I don't even know if you fish with those types of fish with hooks. So it's like you figure out what you need to do, who you need to be, how you need to present yourself. And I'm not saying that you have all these things figured out. I definitely didn't. But I was willing to, if the fish came to me, would I bite versus the fish having to bite? And so that's the idea. You're placed in these situations and you're offered these opportunities. And I always tell people, say yes first, ask questions later. Nobody asks you to figure it out. We're always so busy trying to figure stuff out that we can't get anything done, let alone walk into the abundance that God already has set up for us.
Right.
Okay? And so, it's, like I said about the young lady, the idea is that we have to open our eyes to the fact that, $25 an hour client, while that is a great rate for a newly, the ink on business cards isn't even dry. Yet if you will put $25 on here, then it's almost like the guts, the nerve is what some people will say, the nerve of you. Who do you think you are? And it's less about who you think you are and who you know you are. That's what it's about, who you know you are. I was speaking with two of your classmates today, and I was telling them what ends up happening, and it goes back to what you were saying, is the idea of dealing with friends and family first is because you're right. They will be your quickest supporters. They will speak about you regardless of whether you know it or not, okay? And whether they're actually going to be your clients or not is not of your concern. We're too tied on the idea that, oh, my goodness, my family isn't supporting me. They're not supposed to support you. They're supposed to share you. They're supposed to tell other people. It's like, oh, my goodness, well, you know, my sister does this. Of course, yeah, she can help you. They have no clue whether you can help the person or not, but they're just so happy to say, well, you know, my sister is a life coach. Well, obviously, you see, because we want to talk about people like that. And in my case, I'm an author, so who doesn't want to say, oh, well, you know, oh, yeah, obviously, my sister is an author. You know, my daughter is an author. You need the book? Of course, I'll get some. You see?
Right.
And that's just how people want to be able to speak on your behalf because there's such pride in simply saying you know this person, let alone actually ever booking with them or even knowing what life coaching is. Nobody's saying, oh, I don't know what life coaching is, but she does it. They're saying, of course, yes, she does that. Yes, she can help you. You can ask her all the questions, you know. And so that's the idea. We have to understand that our family and friends are not supposed to be our clients. They're the spokespersons for you, okay? And they can get you to the type of clients you need, but again, you have to be willing to accept whatever the clients are presenting you with. And so in my case, I didn't know what my rate was. Even if I did, maybe I didn't even have a speaking rate because that's a totally different rate from a one-on-one session. And so he asked me, you know, was asking all those questions, and little old me with a $0 budget and no vehicle, having no clue how I'm going to get there or get back or anything. I was like, of course I can do it. I didn't say, oh, my gosh, I don't have a car, you know. So many different numerous things. And so what ended up happening was I told him, you know, let the Lord touch your heart. Now, it's probably my first time in my life ever saying something like that. Like, what does this even mean? But that is what I said. Because, for one, that's the easiest thing to say in so many ways. But two, I didn't know what to ask him for. And not because I didn't know what I wanted, but I maybe didn't even know how to move my mouth to say my rate. So it's one thing to write $150 per session on the paper, but to then even know how to pronounce $150 and just you have to say it is a totally different thing. So what ended up happening, the end of it all is that I went up there. I ended up some kind of way got enough money to rent a car. Had enough money to be able to pay for all of the gas up until getting there. They booked me in one of the most beautiful hotels I've ever stayed in, and I stayed in a great many hotels, but that one just won above them all. And they paid for the hotel. I just have come to find out, since I'm going back to the same place next weekend, I just come to find out how much that room actually cost. And it's $250 plus a night room. Wow. Right. And I'm like, little old me with $0 and with no car, with, you know, I've never had a speaking engagement in this type of platform because I've done group sessions, but it's always women's things. It's always the cute little vision parties or, you know, women's session. It's a few of us. We might bring some chips and dip or something. But these are the leadership team of a pastor, you know, of a church. Who am I to come do this? So I could have said no and not have that type of exposure so early, but I went. Best room I've ever stayed in, view of the whole entire downtown area of the city, and then again, I have not given him a rate. So this is simply covering my room and board.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay? So I never knew what the rate was, but I had to be willing to go up there, not having a clue what I was getting a dime. But anyway, regardless of whether I was getting paid or not, do you know what type of room I stayed in? That covered all of whatever budget I could have had for myself. So he wanted me to come one day, and I asked him, I said, if it's okay with you, I haven't been here since I was a young lady. I would like to stay for service the next day. So it's a Saturday that I spoke. I asked him if it was okay if I could come to church the next day. So he was like, oh, of course. So that's not only just one night. I think it might have been 2 nights. Was it 2 or 3 nights in the $250 room hotel? So after I did my speaking engagement, he gave me an envelope and took me out and my manager. So he's booking this for me and my manager. Took me out to dinner and really just forced us to come to a dinner. And we were so exhausted. We were like, well, you don't have to. We just like to get back to the room and go to sleep. And he was like, no, I'll take you out. So he handed me an envelope, and then he asked me, is this enough? Is that enough? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to be rude and just open this right now. And, that's rude. And he's like, no. Now make sure it's enough now, because if it's not enough, just let me know. And so I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me, So I open it. It's $750.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, my word, and little old me could have been like, oh, I'm new. Oh, I'm a woman. Oh, all of these various things. So all of that to say, regardless of whether you have a rate or not, whatever God is willing to give you, can you accept that type of abundance?
Right.
Okay? Are you ready? So you can ask me a question all day about how do we get to these clients. The idea really is to allow those clients to come to you. And in order to do that, you have to present yourself in such a way to where you readily attract those high top dollar clients. And I tell people all the time that big money is easy. Small money is the hard money, because you have to chase it, you have to beg for it, you have to follow up on it, you have to check in on it. On $15, you have to send a reminder, you have to, it's so much. And because, again, that's the impoverished mentality, or the mentality of someone who does not know the value of you, let alone knowing the value of what you're doing. Okay? And so I want you to write these 3 tips down, and these are going to help you set your rates. Now, I threw out a lot of figures to you. You either catch those figures or you make up your own. It's up to you. All right? But here's how you set your rate. You assess, and this is my own rules, but I'm pretty sure it works out very, very well. Okay? So you have to understand the value of you. What is my value? That first question was, what is the value of you? What is my value? Okay? All right. What is the value of what I'm doing? What is the value of me doing what I am doing? Okay? Now, understand very financially ambitious me. Okay? Financially ambitious me is going to be charging top dollar for whatever it is that I'm doing. At the time, now I'm 5 years into being an entrepreneur, but even when I came out as an entrepreneur, I'm very sure I was charging something that was not typical of a new 25-year-old entrepreneur. Okay? And that was just simply because, for one, I was in corporate America at the time. My income was great, so it was not necessarily about my income as much as it was about, okay, this is something totally different, and if I'm going to really, for this to be worth my time, really is what that part is about. For this to be worth my time and what I bring to any table, what I bring to life, that means it has to come at least this rate. Okay? So that's one value. Okay? What is the value of myself? Now, myself, me, personally, this is not Coach D, this is Denisha. How much is Denisha's going rate? And this is understanding how much do I even make in corporate America? And not that those two are the same, but it takes into consideration the fact that, I moved up very quickly in corporate America. So at the age of 25, I was making more than very many people that I worked around who had been there for, a decade, and I still made more money than you even coming in the door. So, and also that is a product of me going through an internship program where I started off at $10 an hour. I think my very first job, I was making $10 an hour. So someone who comes in to a career, someone who comes into a career, any job at $10 an hour has a different mindset than someone who comes in at minimum wage. Okay? A person who comes in at minimum wage acts minimum wage.
Right.
Okay? So, that value thing, it takes into who you are, your skill set, it takes into consideration many, many things, okay? It also takes into consideration your future goals because, and this happens in corporate America all the time, in order for you to obtain at a certain level, you have to come in at a certain level.
Right, or it won't take you forever.
Exactly. Be there all day. Okay? So what is the value of me? What's my going rate? Okay? After that, we consider what's the value of what I'm doing. Once you figure out about this coaching thing, you will understand that coaching is one of the highest paid per hour, if you want to do it like that, or per session things that anyone could ever do. Now, we know how much IT people make. We have an idea that whether we know the value of it or not, we know these guys make a lot of money. Okay? Coaching is something similar to that arena. Okay? And it's really top dollar. You have coaches who make $150 a session and coaches who make $10,000 per speaking engagement.
Right.
So just be able to understand those various dynamics and then putting those things together, what is the value of me doing what I am doing? Okay, because certain people could charge the $10,000. Can you charge $10,000? Okay? Can you charge $150 per session? Okay? And this is less about charging and more about the quality of it being you. So I understand that there is me and there is coaching, but there is also me doing the coaching. And that comes with so much personality, so much passion, so much of a desire for others to succeed, and so much of quality because of who I am as an individual. Okay, so there are many good coaches, but are there coaches as personable as you? Are there coaches as effective as you, as proficient as you? Okay? Are there coaches willing to put forth as much effort as you? You see? So once you learn that, it then becomes understanding, like I said earlier, that you can't coach just anybody because you are not just anybody. And then also the extension of that is you can't coach everybody. Some stuff you have to leave for the people who are charging $15 an hour. That's not your client. You see? So just understanding all those dynamics will help you to go further than the question that you asked me and be able to actually obtain what it is that you're asking about.
Right.
Okay? And so, again, what you want to do is not just figure out how to get those clients. You want to be in a position to accept them. Once you're in a position to accept them, they actually very readily come. Okay? So, for example, my, financially, I was backed up for so many reasons, and come to find out, the skies really opened up and poured down all kinds of stuff once I became obedient in some areas. So sometimes you have ideas, and as soon as you walk those ideas out is when you start to tap into brilliance and you start to tap into your financial and spiritual gold mine, because it does come hand in hand. But for me, it took me having a women's conference, which I would have never thought was something I would do, and it also took me doing the certification program. As soon as I did those two things, it's like, oh my goodness, where's all this stuff been all this entire time? Where have all these resources been this entire time? And they simply were on the other side of my obedience. Okay? So how do you obtain what you need is you become obedient. And in order to become obedient, you have to know who you're listening to. You're not listening to yourself. This pricing process is a lot of prayer and supplication, understanding your value. And sometimes it's just the result of just jumping out there. Jump into that $75 a session boat. Okay? Because once you can actually get someone to pay you that, you're going to feel like a different type of person. And you're going to, once you're able to get a $75 client, you can get more of them. But if you're dilly-dallying with $15 an hour clients, you're going to get more of those. You're going to get more minnows versus the deep sea fish. Okay? Because how many times does 15 go into 75? You're having a coach more than all day.
Right. I might as well retire now.
Exactly. Okay. And what you'll find that God really honors our actions. And it's not even about whether we go flat or slow or not, but it's about whether we allow him on that ride. No matter how fast you're going, did you even put him in there? Is he driving or are you driving? And typically we'll be going too fast when he's not driving. But when he's driving, is fast even a factor?
Right.
You see? So just make sure he goes with you. Even when it comes to pricing, you pray about those things. And if you feel yourself in a position to go from one to another, then you go right ahead and do that. You will understand that he'll talk to you if it's too much, if it's not enough, he'll talk to you, even in cases where you don't get paid anything. Just think about all those things. Are you willing to do that? Understanding that this is ministry, which means that every time we don't get paid financially, are you still getting your value and not feeling like you sold your soul to the devil? Because that happens a lot too.
Right.
Okay?
Mhm.
All right. Well, I hope this is such a very valuable, literally valuable session for you.
Yes, it has.
Oh,
now I have to kind of get my mind ready because I'm still on the other end. Like, okay, let me keep chewing.
Right.
But no, this was all good.
Okay.
All good stuff. So I thank you for that.
All right, you're absolutely welcome, and I'm really glad I gave you the opportunity to use this time in the best way for you.
Yeah, I needed that. I definitely needed that, so I appreciate it.
Good. You're welcome. All right, great. Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to close this out in prayer. Is that okay?
No, that's fine. That's perfect.
Okay. If you work with me, bow your head. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we come before you first and foremost, Father, for Thanking you for life, God, for breath, for breathing. God, I thank you for this mental freedom that we have, God, and I pray that you will continually remove any blockage that's keeping us from walking in the full upright position, God, as far as your abundance in our lives, God. I pray that we walk into a mindset that allows us not only, Father, to accept and appreciate, God, but begin to ask for everything that we need, Father, from you as well as from those who love us, God. And in doing that, God, may we actually challenge ourselves to new heights and greater depth in you, Father, and also in life, God, for everything that we are striving to achieve and obtain in life, God, spiritually, financially, professionally, God. May we also challenge ourselves with a matched and worthy effort of these things, God. We cannot ask for great things and not be great people. We cannot ask for great things and not be great stewards, God. We cannot ask for great gifts, God, and not be great Christians, God. So I pray that in our obedience to you, God, we also become upstanding citizens, God, for your kingdom. May we become upstanding ministers for your grace and your mercy, God, for your divine favor, God. And may we never miss out on any and every opportunity to give your name the glory, the honor, and the praise that is due, Father. I thank you, Father, for our awareness in this moment, God, and for this being the topic of our conversation, God, such that we can begin to chew on everything that you would feed us, God. And I thank you for giving us meat, God, and not milk, God. I thank you for giving us fit to have a conversation of this nature and of this depth, God, because that shows that we are ready, God. That shows that we are in alignment, God, with the abundance that you have for us, God. So I pray that as you will fulfill us in those areas, God, may you give us the mindset to obtain this fruit and not just obtain it, God, but to use it to further your ministry and further your kingdom, God. This is not about us. It's about you, God. So may we forever acknowledge you and give you the honor, the glory, and the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Are there any final thoughts that you would like to share or any questions that you have for me?
I don't think I have any more, any more questions.
I hope I didn't give you too much.
No, but seriously, it is all good. I took plenty of notes, so I mean, this is something that I can always, refer back to. And just like I said, let it marinate and go over it, time and time again. But, I know one thing I did definitely, do not negotiate on your going rate, because I've done that before, and I know that's one of the things that, okay, I know you, or, we had this, and, I can't do that because I'm selling myself short. And if I do that once, then they're going to expect that time and time again. And I will not get anywhere, and especially as far as, what I see for myself and want to accomplish for myself in the end anyway. I always said I don't want to retire at the age everybody's 65 years old. I said by the time it's time for me to retire, there won't be any Social Security. So I don't want to leave, my fate in the hands of government or Social Security or anything and not have what I want by the age that I want. I want to be able to see the world prior to, retirement age, when you're waiting for some money that you thought that you deserved and worked for, and you don't even have it at the end of the day. So
right.
I want to be able to do everything early, experience in life and travel the world and see different cultures, of course, while helping people at the same time. But I also want to help myself too. So.
Right, exactly.
So that's good stuff.
Well, good. I really pray that I've been a blessing to you, and that this conversation really, that my experiences have been a blessing to you. And I'm wishing and hoping and praying that you will really walk this journey out and really not just obtain and wait for the things that are for you, but just totally go after them. Totally jump out, leap out, and he's going to catch you or make that fall really cushy for you. So just keep your mind open for that, and then, whatever your relationship with God is, just go deeper into that so that you can know what he is saying. Whether he says charge this and that person, don't charge this person at all, because if I'm saying to a guy, whatever you want to do, and then he gives you more than what you ever expected, we have to have the wisdom to be able to do that, because I could have easily said, 300 or 500, but we have to be able to say sometimes however you want to do it. And that's not going to work that same way in every situation, but you still have to be comfortable no matter, the situation, no matter the result.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay. Yep.
All right. Well, I do most certainly appreciate your time with me this evening. If there's anything additionally that I could do for you, please don't hesitate to let me know. And then for any reason, if I am delayed or totally forget what I said that I would do for you, please do me the honor of just reminding me, and I'd be more than happy to get it out to you in a timely manner.
Okay, will do.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. You have a good rest of the evening.
Same to you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.